Little drops of water, little grains of sand, make the mighty ocean and the pleasant land. So the little moments, humble though they be, make the mighty ages of eternity. Little deeds of kindness, little words of love, make our earth happy like the heavens above. Hi everyone, welcome to Sustainable Living with Shilpa Reddy, powered by Planet Green Farm Natura, a new beginning to your life. I'm here today to take you on an informative, introspective and inspiring journey of the very first episode of Homecrop Explore with Shilpa. Our aim for this project is to spread awareness about sustainability and inspire change. I truly believe that our planet needs our love and attention now more than ever before. I hope you all agree with this. Today on this episode of Homecrop Explore with Shilpa, I will talk about breathable grow bags and potting mix. Smart grow bags versus plastic pots. In comparison to the plastic pots, breathable fabric grow bags have superior functionality. Reusable, washable and durable. They are eco-friendly and BPA-free. Prevents root circling, therefore prevents stunted growth of plants. It promotes air circulation, increase in root structure and mass, as a result promotes accelerated growth of plants and yields. They promote aeration. It lets the beneficial microbial life thrive in the growing media. Regulates temperature, that means superior insulation keeps the plants warmer in winter and cooler in summer. Prevents overwatering and root rot. Completely flexible and mobile. Can be folded and stored when not in use or carried along with you if you're moving places. Handle makes it easy to carry to different places around the roof, balcony, yard if sunlight only reaches a certain areas. Potting mix. What constitutes a good soil? Good aeration means porous material. Drainage, that means no water logging. Nutrient availability, which means organic matter, macronutrients like nitrogen for growth stage and leaf formation, phosphorus for germination and root development, potassium for photosynthesis that prevents water loss, also helps in flowering and fruiting. 10 micronutrients, namely boron, calcium, magnesium, etc. Beneficial microbes. What is soilless medium? A lightweight mix made with coco pit, plant and animal extracts that balances the NPK and other micronutrients, good bacteria that is a great substitute for soil and recommended for gardens and terraces and balconies due to the lightweight nature of the mix. Here is how we can make the coco pit based mix, mixing all the following components. Coco pit brick, nutrition supplements, botanical and animal extract supplements, the NPK and other micronutrients available in vermicompost. Neem extracts to prevent soil-borne diseases, beneficial microbes. Today we are going to talk about a very important environmental challenge, the plastic problem. It is one of the biggest environmental concerns of our times. It needs our collective attention at the earliest. Our earth has a way of continuously renewing itself. The elements of nature balance each other out beautifully. Take for instance the carbon dioxide released in the atmosphere by humans and animals and its absorption by plants. Some of these processes might be slow, some pretty quick, but at the end of the day, the balance is always naturally restored. Unfortunately, there are some things that nature's cycle cannot balance out by themselves. Plastic is one such problem that needs our instant attention. Plastic has its many benefits and it's here to stay. But high time we pause and brainstorm ways to use it responsibly. Don't you agree? I sincerely hope and believe that together we can become a part of the solution to this massive problem. One day at a time, and one small but meaningful change at a time. After all, every drop in the ocean and every grain of sand matters, right? What is plastic? We know what plastic looks like, what it feels like, but what really is plastic and what is it made of? Well, the word itself means something that is pliable and easily shaped. That makes sense? Plastic is so popular because of these qualities. How is plastic made? Polymers are used to make plastics of different kinds. This material is easily found in nature, in plants and animals. Cellulose, for instance, is a very common natural polymer. It is a material that makes up the cell walls of the plants. Is it all? No, not all plastic is made of natural polymers. Synthetic polymers are much more widely used. These are made using carbon atoms from petroleum and other fossil fuels. How and why was plastic invented? There is an interesting story behind how plastic came about. To prevent the slaughter of wild elephants, a New York firm offered $10,000 to anyone who could provide a substitute for ivory. By treating cellulose derived from cotton fiber with camphor, Hyatt discovered plastic. This magical material could be molded into a variety of shapes. It also looks similar to natural substance like tortoise shell, horn, linen and ivory. This was a revolutionary discovery because it took away the constraints of nature. Nature had only so much wood, metal, stone, bone, tusk and horn. But now humans could create new materials without depleting the earth. This material was also relatively inexpensive and within the reach of most socio-economic segments. With extensive research by major chemical companies, new varieties of plastic continue to evolve. Fast forward to today, and it's hard to imagine our lives without plastic. At that time, plastic pollution was not even an afterthought. Later, in 1960s, environment-related concerns came up when plastic was found floating in the oceans. What are the types of plastic? There are 7 broad categories of plastic. I wanted to bring it up so you all know that not all plastic is the same. The important questions you want to ask are, is it safe to use? Is it reusable? Is it recyclable? Is it virgin or recycled? Some plastics are safe, some leach out hazardous chemicals. A vast majority of them are single use. Some are easily recyclable, many others are not. Choose your plastic wisely. When it comes to the environment, the biggest of our problems at this time is single-use plastic. 40% of plastic is single-use plastic, which is a huge problem. The Indian government too has set a goal to phase single-use plastic like straws and cups by 2022. This is a tough one to eliminate, but every effort counts. What are the current trends in plastic? Every year, a staggering 400 million tons of plastic is being produced across the world. Just take a moment and let that number sink in. 400 million tons of plastic is equivalent to the combined weight of the world's population. Wow, that's a scary number. What are the major contributors to this insane figure? Packaging is the biggest culprit. It accounts to more than 40% of the plastic produced globally. Sadly enough, most of this also happens to be single-use plastic with a very short lifetime, maybe 6 months or less. Next in line is the construction industry at 19%. This volume does not directly reflect plastic waste generation by the industry. The polymer type and the lifetime of the end product comes into play here. Plastic used in construction has a longer lifetime up to 35 years. Another sector which might surprise you is a close third. Can you take a guess? It's textiles. Synthetic textiles account to close to 17% of global plastic production. 70% of all textiles produced in 2017 were made of plastic, mostly polyester. Thanks to a combination of fast fashion and cheap and quickly replaceable clothes, plastic pollution from textiles is really skyrocketing. Carry bags, product packaging, soft drink bottles, chips packets, all items that are highly convenient and useful yet very damaging to our environment. Which brings us to the most important question of all. What happens to all the plastic once it's no longer needed? About 60% of plastic produced since 1950 has ended up either in landfills or in the oceans or in the natural environment. Over the years, many developed countries have passed on their plastic garbage to the third world countries. With waste piling up in these areas, practices like incineration, that is burning, have become rampant. Burning the plastic releases toxics, chemicals, and it is horrible for the air. Globally, we produce about 300 million tons of plastic waste every year. This figure is expected to grow by 70% by the year 2050 unless urgent action is taken. Why is plastic so sought after? Plastic is the third really cool invention that has revolutionized industries, economies, and individual lifestyle. It's strong, durable, flexible, versatile, and whatnot. Take a moment and look around you. Most things have plastic in them. I'm pretty confident that you can find at least 10 items in less than a minute. In fact, you're watching this video on a device that contains multiple plastic parts. You're probably wearing something that is made of plastic fibers. The bottle of sanitizer next to you is made of plastic. COVID-19 has really brought back single-use plastic in the form of masks, gloves, protective gear, single-use sanitizer sachet and more. Apart from being a pandemic, it is also turning into an ecological nightmare. An estimated 129 billion face masks made using thermoplastic, polypropylene, and 65 billion gloves are being used globally every single month. Single-use plastics are piling up, but garbage sorting and recycling is being rolled back due to the fear of infection. It's really negating the efforts to reduce single-use plastic around the world. What are some plastic-related health concerns? Plastic has become the material of choice for products designed to protect and improve human health. Medicines are packed safely in plastic. Single-use syringes were made possible because of plastic and so on. That's all great. There are over 10,000 synthetic chemicals that exist today, of which only a handful have been tested on human health impacts. Microplastics and microbeads are two other major causes of concern. Plastic don't disappear even when they become invisible to you. These two are perfect examples for that. When plastic starts to disintegrate, it turns into invisibly small particles called microplastics. These stay in the environment for hundreds of years. Then there are microbeads, which are commonly used in the cosmetic industry. You'll find them in toothpaste, sunscreen, facial scrubs, body washes, and other makeup products. Many countries, including India, have put a ban on the use of these. They are too tiny to be filtered out by commonly used sewage treatment plants. At the end of the day, tiny grains of microbeads and microplastic most likely make their way into oceans, float in the dust, in the air, or become part of the soil. They eventually get eaten by fish, which could very well be sitting on your dining table. It is not an exaggeration when I say that every single fish has a grain of plastic in its body. The impact is not just limited to seafood. In fact, National Geographic did a study which reveals that 90% of table salts in Europe contains microplastics. Sad and shocking, yet true. These microplastics and microbeads are making their way into our food chain with each passing day. What are some plastic-related environmental concerns? The biggest advantage of plastic is also its biggest problem. Plastic is designed to beat natural decay because it does not rot like paper or food. It can hang around in the environment for hundreds of years. So exactly how long does it take for plastic garbage to decompose? Scientists estimate that most plastics can take more than 500 years to degrade. Let's take a look at this figure for some common used items. Plastic bag, 10 to 1000 years. A plastic cup, 50 years. Plastic decomposable cups, plates, 400 years. Disposable diaper, 450 years. Plastic bottle, 450 to 500 years. What's worse than these numbers? Only about 5 to 10% of world's plastic is recycled. More than 30% of plastic waste ends up in landfills or incinerators, polluting the soil and air. Around 30% makes its way to the oceans, causing much distress to marine life. Globally, more than 8 million tons of plastic enters the world's oceans each year, and most of that escapes from land. Isn't that embarrassing? Experts think that by 2050, the amount of plastic in the ocean will weigh more than the amount of fish in the ocean. What are the ocean garbage patches? We have even created a new continent of waste in our oceans, a huge mass of plastic waste, a size of Europe. Garbage patches of varying sizes are located in each gyre. The Central Pacific Garbage Patch is the largest accumulation of ocean plastic in the world, and it is located between Hawaii and California. This patch covers an estimated surface area of 1.6 million square kilometers, and the area 3 times the size of France. These patches look like an island in the middle of the sea. It's actually miles and miles of floating plastic rubbish. This level of pollution is horrible for all types of creatures. Animals can get trapped in plastic bags or abandoned nets. Birds, fish, and shellfish can mistake microplastics for food. It's not surprising that each year 100,000 animals in the sea are killed by plastic. How is this going to get better? To make a real dent to the plastic problem, governments, industries, and individuals need to come together. There are also a lot of efforts to make recycling more efficient. Plastics are far from perfect, but they have a valuable place in our lives. Every effort to make them safer and more sustainable counts. If you are a young entrepreneur, you can actively think of creative ways to package your products. Can you use paper instead of plastic? Can you incentivize your employees and customers to do reduced plastic usage? I want to highlight some really inspiring businesses out there which are focused on sustainability. Compostable products, Papco greenware containers and tableware, recycling companies like Green Wave Waste Management India and Earthbox from Hyderabad, Zero Waste Store like IKEA Store in Hyderabad, repurposing single-use plastic, Parley Adidas that makes apparel and shoes from reusable materials. It is refreshing to hear about these ventures that care about sustainability. At an individual level, we can start with small changes in our daily lives. What can you and I do about this? Refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle. This has got to become our mantra of sustainability. The term refuse seems to be a new addition, but it is the most important one. Refuse plastics when bio-friendly alternatives are available. If global consumption trend changes, producers of plastic will have no option but to follow suit. The second rule is to reduce our use of plastic products. Growing up, we often heard the phrase, "Waste not, want not." It carries such an important message. Carrying a reusable cloth bag for shopping is a simple change that we all can bring in. Next up is reuse or repurpose. Yes, now is the time to make some tweaks to our throwaway living lifestyle. Substitute wet wipes with a soft muslin cloth that can be washed and reused, or turn old plastic containers into a planter. This is such a great way to unleash your creativity and save money at the same time. The fourth rule on the list is recycle. Have you tried segregating your waste? Not only does it make it easier for the authorities to recycle, you can also turn wet waste into nutrient-rich compost for your garden. Do take time today to assess your lifestyle and look for these small opportunities. Search on Google for one of these tools to know where you currently stand. www.omnicalculator.com. What am I doing to reduce my plastic footprint? I want to share a couple of ideas of simple changes that I have made. Most of them are easy lifestyle tweaks that you can adopt. I carry my insulated steel bottle of water with me whenever I go out. It's a great way to save money and avoid buying single-use plastic bottles. During the pandemic period, I only use cloth masks and refuse any single-use sanitizer sachets. You'll always find handy cloth bags in my purse, my car, and my kitchen shelf. Single-use plastic bags are simply not welcomed at my place. I even store my vegetables in a handy reusable cloth bags that keep the contents fresh and toxin-free. I have switched to using a bamboo toothbrush. It's such a simple change, but is so important. Did you know the plastic toothbrushes create tons of microplastics and can take about 1,000 years to fully degrade? All plastics with recycle icon on it go into a large collection bin outside my house. Once the bin is full, we send the waste to recycling center. If the garbage cannot be recycled, we segregate it into wet and dry waste. The wet waste is composted to be used in the garden. The remaining is packed into biodegradable garbage bags to be disposed of. All my kitchen jars are either made of glass or steel. They do cost a bit more than plastic to start with, but they last longer and keep the food material safe and fresh. I have switched out all the synthetic scrub pads for dishwashing with coconut coir scrub pads. They are safe and eco-friendly too. I completely avoid plastic plates, plastic spoons, forks, straws, etc. In fact, I try to stick to reusable boxes, bottles, straws made out of steel or bamboo. If disposables are unavoidable, then I go for bamboo and leaf-based products. For wrapping gifts, I use either newspaper or brown paper. I avoid tea bags as they have plastic in them too. I use loose tea powder instead of bags. I try to buy products with plastic packaging only if they have the recycle symbol on them. This is not possible 100% of the time, but I try. As a designer, I completely stopped using synthetic fibers for my production line and now use only silks and handloom so it doesn't harm the environment. These are just a small few changes that I've made in my home. There's so much more that we all can do to slow down the dramatic effects of plastic on the earth. I would love to hear from you all as well. Do comment below with your ideas and thoughts. Thank you so much for listening to me today. This is our humble little endeavor to spread awareness about and overcome the dangers of plastic in our environment. I hope that we were able to inspire you to make some changes in your lifestyle. I will be waiting to hear from you all. Thank you for watching this video. Do subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for more updates.